Ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, Desolator 2988 here. Boogie 2988 and I actually did the fusion dance from Dragon Ball Z because we have such similar body styles. I mean, we're roughly about the same height, and we're both really good at video games. That's all it really takes. So we're coming at you live once again through the power of the internet. And if you're like, what the hell are you talking about? He has 4 million subs. For God's sake, he's technically the biggest MTG YouTuber on the entire website. And I mean that both literally and channel size. He actually opens a lot of Magic the Gathering products on stream. He's awesome. He's like OG Magic, totally old school, like original release. Well, that or something close to it, but much respect to my man Boogie, runs one of the greatest YouTube channels in existence. But you know what's even more the greatest thing in all of existence? That was the crappiest segue ever, but I'm gonna keep it. You know why? Because if you're watching this series, you clearly like terrible writing. Oh! That made up for the last segue. Hey, guess what, you guys? The next chapter of the Hour of Devastation story is out, and it's about to get weird. Not because the story's weird, but because I'm the one telling it. Let's go full Desolator on chapter 3 here, okay? I'm not in court, like, defending myself against streaking charges. It's not time to be prim and proper. Let's get weird. Okay, speaking of weird, if you go to magic.wizards.com/a bunch of crap and then click on Chapter 3, Read Now, you get no results found. This is the third time this has happened, Wizards. Do you want people to read your damn story or do you not? I had to sign into my Facebook account and find your stupid post to get a more direct link because your own stupid CRM can't link to its own damn content on time. For God's sake, the page is live. What the hell went wrong with your search function, your script, or whatever the hell page I'm looking at? This is why you accidentally leak, like, flash animations with cards in them, because your web team is a bunch of idiots. Now, you might want to use this one at Desolator Trivia Night at Applebee's. I'm sure that's on the schedule. I have a degree in web design. So anyway, now that I finally found a link that works, the first 2 chapters were written by the same person, and this one was written by Michael Yichow, which I believe was the author of some of the past ones. Don't remember if they were good or bad. Honestly, they're all kind of bad. And we're starting with a mile of text in italics. Whatever, I honestly don't mind that. Okay, Desolator prologue. They fought the demon guy and then beat him. This story's prologue. And as the Luxa, the lifeblood of Noctamoon, turned into the foul blood of the great shadow Razaketh. He's not a shadow, he's a demon, get it right. The hours turned to that of glory, the promised time when the gods themselves would prove their worth before the god pharaoh. Now see, that's the thing. That's what didn't make sense from what we've seen on the cards and the quotes and that kind of stuff. Especially like the Bantu card or whatever. Like, what is going on? Like, why are the gods fighting or trying to prove themselves? He reprogrammed them to just kind of be middle management. I mean, I don't get this. I guess they just did it because story. This entire story is because story, okay? This is not exactly top-notch writing. It's not exactly terrible writing, though, either. So ignoring the fact that that was the prologue and mine was, what would you call that, a retrologue? Let's get into the story after we figure out what the hell these italics are. By the way, I don't read these ahead of time. Oh, they're going way back with this one. In the beginning, there was nothing but darkness, a churning ocean of uncertainty. Then the great god pharaoh woke and rose, a shining golden sun, and shed light upon the unformed world. I'm going to take a wild guess that none of this is true because it isn't. Basically, it's just a ridiculous creation myth that has the god pharaoh at the beginning of it. I believe they're quoting off the origin story that he like programmed into the gods' minds in like chapter 6 of the last story or something like that. So it's kind of like an inner thoughts of the Shiba Inu, except not a meme and not a Shiba Inu. It was all just like in Rhonas' head, I guess. And they're like, yep, we know this to be true. Yeah, because you got reprogrammed. They freaking installed Windows 10 in your head or whatever. You know, the last version is actually called the Creators Update. That actually fits way better than I thought. Get it? Creation myth? Get it? Okay, anyway. I think he's starting to get a little deprogrammed there because, you know, evidence and logic, which is really funny because that didn't work on anybody else, really, except Samut. Certainly didn't work on, what's-his-face, Samut's stupid, dumb friend, Jeru or whatever. So, yeah, it says then, oh, now the time of the hours and the trials, whatever the hell else, happened, and then he went to go greet God Pharaoh at the gate to the afterlife. But what he found, however, was not what he expected. So he's still chilling, totally in shock, next to, well, what was the river, now it's just blood, and they can smell it. So he's like, what hell? So Oketra, aka Mittens, comes over, stands next to them, Kefnet comes over too. Oh, they're going to have a little chat, ain't they? It had been many years since all five had gathered in one place. Yeah, for some reason they didn't ever really do that in the story. Oh, they're going to summon Captain Planet. And now, for the musical interlude.
Oh, Planet! By your powers combined, I am Captain Planet! Captain Planet! He's an hero! Gonna take pollution down to zero!
Well, he's doing a crap job so far because there's global warming and then there's, hey, your entire source of water just turned into blood. By the way, I seriously have no idea what the name of that band was at all. Dude, that meme is so like OG internet memery, I had to dust it off. I don't even think it was an MP3, I think it was a WAV file. So Rhonas is like, I sense danger may be near. Congratulations if you got that reference. So Hazaret starts the whole Jace trick where he's talking in the other god's minds, basically. And he says, look, the Luxa. Are these guys particularly smart? Because they don't really seem like it. He's like, bro. He like turned it all into blood. Like, what? Also, he notes that the God Pharaoh hasn't returned yet. I wonder if he rolled a 20 on that perception check. Mind you, the God Pharaoh is really tall. So they'll just stand there trying to figure out why, when the gates opened, all they see is the one thing they knew to be behind it, which was the necropolis where all the dead are buried, or somehow buried themselves, and then what? I don't get it. Like they come back, or they don't, or are there mummies wandering around the necropolis? I don't get it. I don't care. By the way, calling it right now, necropolis is where they were hiding the three gods. So you're probably wondering, what did the blood have to do with anything? Was it for show, or was it an actual, like, signal to Nicol Bolas to come back to the plane, or whatever? Well, as they're starting to notice, they said, well, the magic pressure of, like, a demonic spell is still in the air, even though the demon dude's dead, because he already cast it. Not really how the game magic works. If you lose and you're dead, you can't really cast spells. You actually can leave an emblem behind to be eliminated from the game, and the emblem doesn't go away. Oh, only if it's attached to another player. Anyway, they said, yeah, like there's a magical pressure in the air, and then the blood of the river seems to be like flowing into the stone foundation of the necropolis and like running through the grooves and stuff, like pretty much every movie ever. Oh, called it. So there's a big cracking sound and three massive sarcophagi suddenly crack open, and guess what's inside? So strangely enough, these three gods that are now awakening from behind the sarcophagi are actually taller than the existing gods, which is strange. Also, what a massive coincidence that they're gigantic, powerful, known to be destructive, and overall have a negative connotation, but the five really nice ones were awake the whole time. It's almost like that lends itself to the story really well. What the hell did these three highly destructive gods do before Nicol Bolas showed up? Just, a swarm of locusts once in a while? A fun little locust thing for like a parade or something? Maybe make some dried scorpion necklaces? Oh, by the way, I think I wasn't 100% correct about this. So I thought that the third one was a spider. That is not correct. You got Scorpion God, a.k.a. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Then you've got a locust one. I mean, he was in the trailer. Can't miss him. And then there's a kind of bluish one with the carapace of a scarab. It really looked a lot more like a spider to me, but I don't know. I guess not. So, yeah, interesting. Everybody loves, bugs and beetles and swarms, and yeah, it must have been great. And just like me at the annual family reunion on my mom's side, I find myself thinking what the gods are. I feel like I'm related to these people, but I don't know how. They immediately sensed, okay, those are gods. That's weird. Uh-oh, Rhonas' brainwashing is wearing off. He says, for the first time in his existence, Rhonas felt unsure. Nothing in the prophecies, nothing in his memories of the god Pharaoh spoke of these three. Well, surprise! So all the humans standing around the gods are freaking the hell out because they're like, oh my gosh, giant scorpion. But Rhonas is like, Hazaret, I don't think you should fight him, because he was getting ready to just like chuck a spear at him, basically. So Rhonas is like, I am Rhonas, god of strength. Who are you? And why have you awakened during this hour of glory? So then the scorpion god, of course, replied,
Tom Murphy! What's up, partner? Darkness, everybody! Everyone! Darkness is spreading!
just kidding. Apparently it says he didn't say anything. He just made a low chittering noise. Because his head's a freaking scorpion. You really thought he could talk? Oh wait, I literally just said that he could do the telepathy thing in the minds, whatever. He didn't feel like it. So, Rhonas is like, you're freaking out the humans. So, whether you are a harbinger of our god Pharaoh's return or an interloper conspiring against the ours, you shall proceed no further. Now keep in mind, he's like double his size. So naturally, Rhonas, in true Rhonas style, then when he doesn't say anything, keeps stepping forward and shaking the ground and scaring the crap out of everybody. He says, well, you shall not defy a god of Amonkhet. We stand guard over the city and its people. If you are my trial, then I will defeat you and prove myself worthy. See, I knew there would be a reason why they completely made up the part at the beginning about the gods having to prove themselves in their own trials that never came up in the storyline until now. It's like foreshadowing, except it's really just crappy writing ex machina. Oh, and it's not coming to save the day, it's coming to save the story from boringness. It's doing a great job, let's continue. So, without saying anything other than chittering noises, Scorpio we'll call him, because I don't know his name. Actually, I don't think the cards know his name. They just call him the Scorpion God. Let's go with Scorpio, I like it. So Scorpio charges at him, starts, swiping his big old claws at him, that kind of crap. But Rhonas knows how to fight, and this guy just woke up. So apparently Rhonas is actually really good at fighting. It says that he practices all the time, and he's actually used to fighting something bigger than himself, because when too many sandworms and other monstrosities, like those strider things or whatever, get too close to the city, there's too many, they will leave the city, go outside the Heckma shield thing, and just go bust them up. So yeah, he gets his exercise apparently, but also he's the god of strength, in case you forgot that. So, yeah, he's parrying his blows and just blasting them with his staff and all that crap, but not really getting a whole lot of effect out of it, because, hello, you can't kill him. Well, except on, Theros, where I guess you can kill a god. I don't know, I didn't read that one. Hey, they should go get Godsend. Where's that? Did Elspeth take it to her grave or something? So while the Scorpion God is just thrashing around like a drunk idiot and not being very coordinated or particularly good at fighting, I get the impression he has the intelligence of a scorpion. Rhonas starts gathering up mana to channel a spell of vigor, which if you're not familiar with green spells, is gonna wreck some crap. Because he just wasn't strong enough already, so power coursed through his limbs, and he hit the Scorpion God with all of his might. Yeah, he went on a little trip right back through the gate. So at this point, apparently, all the humans that hadn't run away are cheering and shouting praises of Rhonas, because they're just like, well, if we're not going to see Nicol, Bolas, and everything's going to crap and a river turn to blood, we might as well watch a fight. There's actually one of them started selling popcorn, peanuts, and Pepsi. Pepsi, join the conversation. Well, unless you're fat or disabled or ugly, then get the hell out of our commercial. I'm just kidding. The transsexuals were ugly as hell. They didn't let any fat people or disabled people in, though. I mean, I got them there. Unfortunately, the Scorpion God got right back up, and Rhonas is like, well, that's weird, because that spell never failed to end a fight before, as he put it. So now Rhonas is like, yep, got it. This is definitely the trial of the hour of glory. That's news. I never heard of that. But he's like, yeah, nothing had challenged my strength like this before, so this has got to be it. So then he thinks to himself, it is honor to prove my worth against such a formidable foe. He's actually Japanese this whole time. He's from Kamigawa. I don't know if you knew that. AKA Space Japan. So Rhonas gets some serious juju going with some really elaborate incantation thing that takes actually quite a bit to cast. I guess he casts it on his staff or something, but it doesn't really say what happens. I mean, let's not kid ourselves here. It's green. It's a boost spell. Oh my god, a CP15 fanfy just spawned in my apartment's parking lot. Be right back. Woo! Curveball Great Throw. Got that sucker. Got a pineapple berry and everything. 6 candy away, people. 6 candy. Anyway, I am even more focused on the story than Rhonas is on fighting his opponent. Also looking like a Stargate SG-1 villain. So Rhonas gives him a big ol' whack on the back, and nope, still can't get through his thick bug shell. May I suggest a can of Raid spray? Oh, but apparently just hitting him the first time slowed him down, and then he hits him again and cracks his carapace just a little bit, and basically gets another blow, and it turns out his spell actually poisoned his weapon, which I'm calling BS on because the spell Coat with Venom is clearly a black spell. R.I.P. Coat with Venom. Butcher's Glee, you'll never take its place. Touch of Moonglove was good too. So, see what color mana this sounds like. The biting glow of the magical poison, venom powerful enough to slay the most living things, pulsed as it seeped in through the wound, numbing and eating away at the scorpion god from the inside. Well, I mean Death Touch. I mean, you know, it's a black-green thing. I'll give it to him. I'll let it pass. So he's all like, yeah, I won. So he pulls the ultimate WWE bonehead move, and he turns around to address his brothers and sisters, the other gods, and the gathered mortals who came to watch the fight and buy popcorn. And right as he opens his mouth to speak, whoops, steel chair to the face. Yeah, he grabs him by both shoulders with his big old claw hands and stabs him with the scorpion tail. And then, you know, just cause, they show the card Hour of Glory, exile target creature. If that creature was a god, its controller reveals his or her hand and exiles all cards from it with the same name as that creature, because everybody knows that in the storyline there's more than one Rhonas. But the artwork is actually depicting exactly this. You should look up the card, it's lovely. So Rhonas just thinks, I am slain. Seriously, there's ... in between those. And the Emmy for best writing goes to, I actually don't think that's a category. So this whole thing is super important. Totally don't want to butcher it. Very key moment here. Also, if you're wondering how the heck a god could possibly die, well, they're made out of the ley lines of mana that make up the entire plane. So, you know, good luck destroying that. That said, Nicol Bolas pretty much did just that. He just about wrecked at least green mana, according to Nissa. Kinda turned it up to 11 on the black mana too, by the way, but the realization crept through him even as he felt the ichor of the scorpion god sting drip down his spine, seeping into his mind and soul, severing his physical ties to his divinity, and corroding the magic that connected his body to immortality. Rhonas watched, seized with horror and fascination, as death consumed him. He felt the poison gnaw at his heart and fray the knot of ley lines and magic and physical strength that resided in his core. See, I told you, they're made out of, like, the ley lines. They just tie him in a little, like, Boy Scout knot thing. Yet as the poison destroyed the links anchoring him to the world, it also unbound the magical threads placed there by another force. It wasn't Nissa this time either. And Rhonas suddenly remembered the truth. The memories began as a trickle, then flooded through him as the tangled dam of magic unraveled. And Rhonas' very spirit recoiled as the true events and nature of the God Pharaoh revealed itself, a crushing tidal wave sweeping away everything he had believed for the past, 60 years. They actually gave it an actual time. So Nicol Bolas set all this up 60 years ago, which, I mean, yeah, it would be about 3 generations-ish. Makes sense why nobody remembers everything. Plus, he vaporized everybody who lived there above the age of 2. I could have sworn it was like 200 or 300, they said, or something, but I don't know, whatever. So it's 60. I'm glad they finally answered that. I like details. So then he pulls a Darth Vader and just screams, Nicol Bolas, and then dies. Oh, he also noticed right before he died that, the Scorpion God dude got reprogrammed as well. He could see, like, you know, all the ley lines and messing with his mind and all that crap or whatever. Oh, for God's sake, he died like 3 times already. God, I tried to summarize it. Come on. So as they put it, that's when the 4 gods felt a lurch in the world, a pull on the very fabric of their beings. Which is funny because they don't use green mana at all, whatever. Behind the Scorpion God, Rhonas clung to his staff. Yeah, he's like alive again, whatever, piss off. He was leaning on it to struggle upright, bent on his knees and bleeding from the wound in his skull. Verdant energy rippled across his body and channeled into his staff with the last of his strength. Oh, I get it. They're gonna quote that other card. Anyway, Rhonas pulled taut the remaining ley lines that wove throughout his being, warping the very air around him. This is gonna be like a 7-cost speller up, I guarantee it. Actually, I've seen the spell. I think it costs 3, but still. Like, he's summoning all his mana, dude. He just brought all the damn forests out of his deck. But, here's the fun part. Lots of people watching, keep that in mind. An anguished final shout tore ragged from his throat. Death to the God Pharaoh, foul trespasser and destroyer. Oh, that's gonna go over well with the other gods and the humans. Hey guys, I know we've been killing you for 60 years, and we set up this ridiculous trial thing and told you the God Pharaoh was really awesome, but death to the God Pharaoh. And then he throws his staff through the air and putting, you know, all of his power into it, and can't wait to see how that goes. So now that Rhonas finally, maybe, hopefully died, it says he just sent out huge ripples of force over anything living because, green mana. Honestly, I'd say white mana, but whatever. And like even the gods were like, stumbling for a second there. But Rhonas' staff was still carrying the final little bit of his power, and that's still being chucked through the air, as it were, and turned into a monstrous living serpent. That's gonna end well. Its fangs were bared and laced with death, as they put it. And it struck the scorpion god, which is weird because fangs can't really get through carapace, but whatever. So the mortals, as they call them, all the humans that were standing around, they were fleeing, and then they were like, well, let's watch the fight and cheer. Now they went back to fleeing, according to the story. These people are idiots, in case you didn't catch that. So Oketra is the first one to stop being stunned like an idiot. And she's like, yeah, the hours have gone awry, we must protect the mortals. Yeah, I would say death to the god pharaoh, foul trespasser and destroyer. Probably, yeah, they've gone awry. So Hazret turns to Mittens, which I think I accidentally called Oketra, my bad. And he says, wait a minute. Rhonas, right before he died, he blasphemed our god pharaoh. And Oketra just nods. She's like, yeah, I heard him. And she's like, well, that can't possibly be true what he said, but I'm starting to doubt it a little bit. So before she can, work it all out, go see a therapist or whatever, it says, a second of the insect gods, Locust Guy, starts unleashing swarms of locusts because he's like one of those crappy supervillains that has exactly one power, I would assume. So they fly up to the magic barrier, aka Heckma, and start eating it. So bird-brained Kefnet finally says, what is it doing? You may recall, Kefnet is the maintainer of the Heckma. So he's like, they're eating my thing. What the hell? I have like one job. Then Oketra recalls something in the words of the prophecy, and at that time the god pharaoh will tear down the Heckma. So then Oketra says the hour of promise has begun. So apparently these like hours have names, but they just never bothered to mention that before, I guess. So while they were watching that, the scorpion god that was fighting with the magic snake cut it in half. That's probably not great. So without even skipping a beat, this bro is like, I'm going to kill the rest of the gods. And Oketra's like, I've got a bow. Damn it, her name's Mittens, not Oketra. Oh, I'm screwing this up so bad. So then just says, well, the other gods walk through the gate thingy. Very disappointing behind that gate. I mean, that's like when you get the zonk on Let's Make a Deal. And even I'm not that old, but I saw the reruns on like Nick at Night. I mean, come on. And that's where the story ends. So, yeah, Rhonas is dead. The other ones are screwed. They seem kind of weak and stupid, as do everybody in this city. And now they don't have a shield around it. So, yeah, get ready for Sandworm Convergence. Haha, I can quote cards too. Well, there really wasn't much to make fun of in this story. I mean, it was really, really, really well written. Props to Michael Yi Chow. That was like friggin' awesome. And it's really shaping up. I actually can't wait to see what happens. I mean, after the whole dicking around with Liliana's nonsense because they had 8 chapters and only 6 worth of content, yeah, it's getting going. So it's a little strange that Nicol Bolas hasn't showed up yet, but I mean, who just like checks their cell phone, they get a text from the Blood River or whatever the hell, and it's like, hey, come to Amonkhet. I mean, when the timer goes off on the microwave, do you immediately drop everything and get up and go get your Hot Pocket? Hell no. If you're like me, you leave that crap in there for 15 minutes, forget about it, and then you buy a microwave that keeps beeping every minute. So what do I think's going to happen in the story? I don't know. Nicol Bolas shows up and there's a fight and then the Gatewatch gets defeated. I mean, it's not even what I think. That just is what's going to happen. So everyone in the town is a brainwashed moron. All the gods are brainwashed idiots. And the Gatewatch are a bunch of bumbling morons who have 0 teamwork and cannot plan their way out of a wet paper bag. Oh gee, I'm so disappointed that they spoiled what's going to happen with all the defeat cards. I totally didn't just see that coming. But if I had to guess at the end game here, which is going to be the very interesting part, and they better actually reveal it by chapter 8. Why did Nicol Bolas do all this? So we do know that he was trying to regain his like godhood status. Not the same like plain tide leyline mana based divinity god, but like the Planeswalker's pre-mending god, you know, where they're like super powerful. So somehow that involved lots of dead people, lots of undead mummies, definitely the blue mineral, because like I said, the staff already leaked that. Nowhere in the story did it say that that's important at all. They just mentioned that, oh look, there's some mummies working in a mine mining blue stuff. That's weird. But the staff in one of their videos accidentally or purposely leaked that part of the story, that's why he came to the plane, and his endgame scenario, Nicol Bolas, has something to do with the blue mineral in the mine. So it must do something. I guess that's how he convinced everybody to mine it, by just convincing them to be dead, basically, with the trials. And then, mining it for him. Because he can vaporize an entire town full of citizens, but he can't mine a mine using magic. Yeah, gotta do that by hand, apparently. I don't get that. Then get a shovel. You're like 100 feet tall. In fact, actually, I believe the Discover cards now have, just for this quarter, 5% cash back at hardware stores. You could buy a shovel, you could get a little spelunking helmet, one of those mining helmets with like the little flashlight in the front. You could get, you know, all kinds of stuff. So it would seem that the way it's pointing is the blue crystals do something, and it can turn him back into like a godlike being. Now, I believe he came to Amonkhet almost directly after killing Ugin. I think that's where they're going with this, because the time would be about right on that. He also, according to Mark Rosewater himself, he answered this directly, he thinks that Ugin is dead. So, will Ajani show up with Ugin? Well, we haven't seen him on any of the cards yet, but we've only also seen, I think, 51 out of the 199 cards. So that'd be really cool if Ajani shows up and like brings Ugin with him. Otherwise, you know, maybe Garruk, probably not. I heard he's mentally unstable because of something or whatever. I do have a feeling though that Liliana's going to put on the mask thingy, the chain veil. Oh, you guys are into the lore. Are gonna kill me for saying that. Yeah, the totally not powerful or reverence-inducing thing at all, the mask thingy. She's going to put it on and just wreck Nicol Bolas. He's probably going to retreat because they're not going to kill him. Come on. He won't be able to go through with this plan, so, oh no, he's going to get revenge of the Gatewatch in the future. Whatever. Jace doesn't die because he goes to Ixalan. Something bad's probably going to happen to Liliana. She's probably going to, like, chain veil out, go nuts, and then go after the fourth demon by herself. And Gideon will probably be dead unless that's just a blatant red herring, which it probably is. Or, like, false foreshadowing, not like red herring, whatever. It wasn't even just foreshadowing. They said it. They literally said it. Like, Gideon, you are going to die. That's not foreshadowing. Foreshadowing is like a balloon drifting through the wind, and then it pops. Oh, how symbolic. In fact, that's what they should do to Nicol Bolas, okay? You gotta get weird with this dude. You can't just be like, I'm gonna punch him and cast spells and things and try to kill him. No, you're not, okay? You gotta release, get this, 99 red balloons.
99 red balloons flying in the summer sky.
Oh my god, Dad, it's not the original. You're on YouTube. Look it up your damn self. This version's better. In fact, you know what? You know what? You brought this on yourself.
99 red balloons go by.
Yeah, they made a happy hardcore version. If you're not familiar with the internet, they made a happy hardcore version of everything. Everything! So anyway, to sum it all up, my plan is to release 99 red balloons. Hopefully Russia then drops nukes on Nicol Bolas. And then have a big old dance scene like The Matrix with all the remaining humans and play some awesome Nightcore remixes. The Gatewatch's plan is... I'm just kidding, they don't have one. And the Gods' plan is sit around being stunned and sort of doubting themselves. Yay, go team. Nicol Bolas doesn't stand a chance. This must be what it feels like to be a Dolphins fan. I think the best outcome we can hope for at this point, if we're being realistic, is pretty much everything and everyone gets destroyed. Then somehow Oketra, aka Mittens, survives and just creates a cat-based society. Let me know your prediction about the storyline down below. Unless you're the staff, then keep your mouth shut because you've already ruined the story for everybody already. Thanks, guys. Keep up the good work. I'll see you guys next chapter.
Tom Murphy!